freezing. You got anything kicking? You got a little bit else. We're doing a podcast. Oh, shit. And very sleepy, just waking up. Richard the Wizard here, but I'll get going here in a second. How's your day, Drew? It was pretty cold this morning and warmed up really quick. It's gonna be a hot damn year, I tell you that. And we're about to hit spring. Couple more days, we'll be in spring. No, the finest of the cheapest vodka you can buy. They ought to be sponsoring me just in how much I drink. Oh shoot. Oh, I haven't even seen anything about it. My TV's got messed up. I need to watch more of probably more news and redactions. I think are like where they black out some stuff, like not nonsense censored. I think. Like, are they actually saying who shot the motherfucker? Yeah, and the shot that he took was like a pretty good shot. So supposedly he was. So if anybody's probably your age, maybe a lot of people don't know about JFK, but like he was gonna change the world. A couple famous speeches and shit like that. Blah blah blah. I'm not that old to be voting for JFK because I can't remember when it was, 67 or some shit, 66 something, some shit like that. But the thing was that he was involved with the mafia, and the mafia supposedly put a hit out on him or something like that. Or that it was fucking, what was it? Hoover was the head of the FBI or something, and he was gonna like shut him down or something. But supposedly he had ties, like he was like, everybody said he was banging like Marilyn Monroe or something like that. So they're basically saying that the whole deal was like either set up by the government or it was a mob hit, and the Lee Harvey Oswald guy made these incredible shots in a movie vehicle and literally pegged the motherfucker like several times. And then supposedly there's a very famous quote. It's like there's another shooter on the grassy knoll, supposedly, because somebody said they saw somebody with a gun on the grassy knoll a lot closer, and supposedly that's the guy that really killed him. And boom, all of a sudden, and they were able to like find Lee Harvey Oswald with the gun, like who the fuck was looking up there and like knew exactly where he was and shit like that. So there's this whole speculation on that shit, but
Damn.
yeah, it'd be an interesting read. I'm sure somebody's gonna come out with like some kind of a movie about it
Damn.
or something like that. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. So
So
it was pretty
good thing I
interesting
caught
to
this, but
read.
the first
The video, it was
first
pretty fucked
the
up.
first 3 minutes I you couldn't hear me, but I hear you.
No, great. I sound like an idiot.
Yeah, no, you're good. But yeah, dude. So I'm reading. I saw this picture. So apparently JFK, before I think right before he got assassinated, said, so this is to this is an actual like letter from him, says, to who it may concern, I have information that would lead to the arrest.
The rest of who? Who is the arrested? And if you can hear me, Mr. Rubin, I cannot hear you. And if I'm still on there, I don't know what happened to Mr. Rubin, but no dead air, so I'm going to keep talking. Uh, yeah, so probably who like it must have been Hoover or something like he threatened to take him out or some shit like that. But the head of the FBI, I'm pretty sure it was Hoover. I can't fucking remember. Like I said,
Oh,
I get
I
back to
pushed I accidentally hit the mute button.
the mute button again. Yeah. So I'm pretty like he had information on who that was going he was going to take it.
Some person named Hillary. I mean, yeah, Hillary Clinton.
Who? JFK?
JFK. Apparently, there was a
Hillary
letter.
Clinton was like how old? I don't know. Fucking. I think that was
She's probably like 30 years old at the time, maybe.
No, she can't be. That means she'd been born like the fucking like 30 something. So that was six.
So she was born in 1947.
Yeah, so she'd have been like 20 years old. Like nobody knew who the fuck Hillary Clinton was.
Age.
Are you sure? Are you sure you're not crossing like the Epstein file? Like
no.
That?
What year was JFK assassinated?
I'm not sure. I have to look it up. I think it was 660 something, 60, 66, 67, something like that. I'm not quite sure. Really, we should start watching. We're doing some more research before we start talking on stuff.
So she would have been. Okay, I guess this was just some fucking bullshit they just put in here. The hell?
Yeah, that's obviously fucking bullshit. Because nobody knew who the fuck she was. Nobody knew who Bill Clinton was back then. So, I mean, she might have been 20 years old and in college. You know, but it's not like she knew what the hell was going on. No one really shit about Hillary Clinton back in the day. So I don't know. Maybe he time traveled and he saw the future.
Okay. So I think this is fake. This guy just posted. I don't think they even released them. What the heck? Oh no! They released the 80,000 JFK file. 80,000 fucking files. What the fuck?
Damn, this sure seems like a lot of files. Like,
Fucking.
how can you even amount that many files?
So that's the thing I always wonder. Like all the shit here, and I don't know, man. This is just something fucking weird. I don't know.
Let's just switch topics from this conspiracy JFK or something like that. What else are the hot topics in the news or besides Donald Trump? I really need to get my TV fixed so I can start watching more of the NHK shit.
NHK. Ah, man. But
just do work on the old fucking.
Yeah.
I was gonna go fishing today, but fucking man, I asked the hell out.
So you know what tonight we should talk about?
What's that?
Money, astrology, magic, and a little bit of a government spice.
Government spice. And we're banned again.
Oh my god. Well, the big question is, what's really behind wealth? Is it hustle, stars, spells, or something shady, like people in suits pulling the strings?
Behind wealth? Like wealth itself, not money necessarily, but actual wealth.
All right. Well, let's kick it off with money itself. I'm out here grinding, right? Side hustles, crypto, whatever I can get my hands on. But sometimes I always look at these like rich guys, you know Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, and you always wonder like, is it hard work or there's a bit more to it?
I think there is definitely something to it. I think a lot has to do with luck. I mean, so obviously is being extremely intelligent, like Elon Musk. But he also surrounds himself with smart-looking people, and I mean, you could be the smartest motherfucker in the world, and just you have a string of bad luck, and it shits on you, and then fucking one wrong turn can really change your life and destroy it. But I do think that it is like skull and bones shit or Illuminati, whatever you might call it. That there is some kind of society that like the big players are a part of, and that like behind the scenes is like not only are they like making fat ass money, but they are literally like making decisions like way more than our government is, or there is this elite section of people, and maybe several different ones in different countries, or maybe one super big one, like they always say the Illuminati does like all over the fucking world or some shit like that does kind of pull the strings. But then you gotta also look at Trump, that technically there's tons of his life where he wasn't worth anything because he spent all his money, and he went like bankrupt. I don't know how many times, and the motherfucker still got money. You know, he's still like a millionaire. So it's like, how the hell does that damn happen?
Yeah,
But
honestly, I
but me, I can't save money for shit.
I think the fact is timing is a big deal, but I'm also thinking it's a little bit bigger, maybe cosmically bigger. But it's a bit weirder. Sometimes you always think, well, like, what's the secret sauce to all these rich people? Like, you could be scrolling to like Facebook and Twitter, and then you'll see someone post about like the Rothschilds or BlackRock, and they're usually a bank family, and I think those are the rich people. Like, obviously, you have Elon Musk and Trump, but like you have these families that have these like enormous amount of cash and stashes, and it feels like it's like a whole ritual for some reason.
And it sure does seem like the poor the richest the richer the people are, the more that like they won't tip, the more they save their money, the more greedy that they are. Is one thing. I always have when man I pull into a house and like, oh man, these people got an ass load of money. They never would give you a tip.
Well,
Like, hey,
I
you work for them, and they'd even negotiate the price down sometimes. They're just like, my mom said, that's how rich people get rich, you know.
well
And that sure is the case, I think, a lot of times.
I just think it's kind of like a little bit of leverage. Like, it's a bit both. You have money. It's not just paper or coins. I think it's energy. The way how you move things around. That's
Yeah.
why they have crypto, because it decentralizes, no middleman. But the government, like the way how people see it, it's kind of like a monopoly. They're the only ones that can print it. No one else. So then you always wonder, like, where does inflation come from if, they should be able to control the money? So then you're like wondering, like, what the hell, tacos are costing double what they did a couple years ago.
Yeah,
What
well, you control every factor too. It's like,
What's up, King
so am I
Everett?
gonna get?
Welcome to the podcast. How you doing today?
I didn't know what's up. It's also like, so let's say you're a guy that owns Taco Bell, or the franchise Taco Bell. So then you go, well, hell, let me buy the meat, and let me buy the cows, and let me go buy the land that the cows are going to graze on, and let me take out the little farmers, and let me just make it, corporate. The A great movie is The Founder from fucking
Oh,
McDonald's.
the McDonald's.
Uh,
Oh, dude,
yeah, have you seen it? I think we were talking about it one day, but did you ever watch it, Ruben?
no. But it kind of reminds me,
It,
like the founders. I did see like snippets of it, but it's like they're like, and it kind of correlates what we're talking about, the whole money and control. It's like they're trying to do regulations popping up left and right, but it's always sketchy. Like, it feels like the money system's always rigged, and I don't know if it's greed or if they have a plan. But some people, try to tie it with like a bigger agenda, like global control and a one world currency. But it's a little bit conspiracy here and there. You have those people that go crazy about it, and the founder kind of like puts it into a perspective about, how McDonald's is more of a property managing company than a fast food company.
yeah, because like not only that, it's like even like you always wonder why their milkshakes or their ice cream is always broken down. Sorry, we don't have any ice cream. Is always broken down because they literally have contracts with like the McDonald's company that they're the only person that can fix that machine, and that machine has to be fixed by them. They will like fly motherfuckers around the world to like fix these damn machines that
Yeah.
cost thousands of dollars, and that's in the contract. But yeah, it was he really screwed like he really was the basis for McDonald's being the corporation that it is and monopolizing it. He really screwed the McDonald's brother over. Like they actually kind of like went to court and stuff, and they settled for back in the day, which was an assload of money. But today, that money would be worth like $100 billion or something like
Yeah,
that. That
that's
they should have. He really fucked them, but he
yeah.
hired an accountant, and the accountant started doing all the fucking math and stuff like that. And the guy was money hungry, and he did all stuff. But the accountant said, "Look, we were missing the big picture. Instead of just controlling the McDonald's, we basically make it if they buy the McDonald's, like the name of the franchise, so they can put up a franchise of their own. That we specify what locations they have to build it, and then we buy. Before that, we buy all the property. So they bought all the property that they could possibly buy, and anybody that wanted a franchise for McDonald's, they go, okay, well, this is where you have to put the McDonald's. Guess who owns it? We do.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So
So, all right, let's shift gears a bit. So, I'm gonna try to tie money with astrology, and I know you're into that stuff, Rich. But do
yeah,
you
I'm good.
do you think the stars can mess with money? Because I'm an Aquarius. Us Aquarius, we like big ideas and always chasing for the next things. And I feel like that's why I'm all over for all this new stuff for like side gigs and the next big thing. And you're a Gemini, right?
Yeah, and it sure seems like Gemini's is like just love spending and shopping because I
Mm.
cannot save a lick. I literally have to give up my money to like people that have money. I try to pay ahead instead of saving, but like literally, I get my paycheck and by Sunday or Monday I'm broke again, and usually having to borrow $20 from haha like maybe you or my friend or something like that just to have gas money. So and just it seems like I know a few Geminis. We just seem to, I don't know, live in a moment and like shopping. It's pretty funny. Like I said, I'm turning into a yard sale junkie right
Yeah,
now.
that's wild.
So
But like me for an Aquarius, I guess like I'm all about like disruption, like technology and new ideas. It's always my kind of my lingo. And for Gemini, it's like you guys, for you, honestly, you're not like the Wall Street people. You guys are more like kind of like how you said, like out there, out in the field, and doing like whatever catches your eye. That's your thing, right there. Boom.
yeah, I don't know if it's like your horoscope says, oh, the stars are in this, and then that's going to determine how much money you get today. The real question is, it's like the Matrix. Um, the when she told Theo that he was the one, that he was the one. He all of a sudden it's like hit him with a ton of bricks, and he's like, oh shit. So she goes, here's a cookie. You'll feel better after you eat it. And he's like, thanks or something like that. And then she goes, well, the real question is, did the cookie really make you feel better, or did me telling you the cookie was going to make you feel better make you feel better?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like, so if your horoscope says today's going to be a 10, does that state of mind impact you?
yeah. I mean, if
So are
I
you going
mind
through
over matter on a lot of things. I mean, you're
I truly believe that.
well, like okay, so like let's put this in like put this in an example like horoscopes. So I think your ruling planet for a Gemini is Mercury, right?
Correct.
So whenever it's
Closer
like
to
your
the sun.
ruling planet, like supposedly it's be like quick move, sharp mind. I kind of see that a little bit into you. With stuff like what you do, like you're kind of like a mad scientist in the garden.
Yeah, I do. I do love science. I like astrology and also, but just also the planet. Like, I do believe like the season you were born definitely kind of impacts you and stuff like that. But then you get into like, so what if you're a preemie baby? You know?
Yeah,
So
I
what
mean,
if you're a 6-month-old baby? Are you really that sign or that you came out, or like, or are you the sign that it was when you were conceived 6 months earlier? That's like the real question.
well,
So
what's crazy is
I wonder if it's the mentality of you take. I wonder if you take on the characteristics of your sign if you know your sign.
maybe you're
You
forced. Like
know?
basically, like you were born on that day, but you were supposed to be this.
Yeah, that's the weirdest
So
thing.
then you have people
So it's
maybe
like,
having both. Like they're like, what if someone's a Taurus, but they have similar things as a Pisces?
yeah, and then you get into this whole cups thing where you, like, all of a sudden they came out with it's like, hey, it's not enough just to, like, what if you were born a day away from being a Gemini, or like, does that make you part Gemini, part Cancer, something like that? So, I'd like to think of astrology as like it's just
Yeah.
fun to study, fun to look at, but also, like, it would probably make more sense like where the moon was too when you were born, and we don't pay too much attention into that unless you're into Chinese astrology. Like I'm a metal monkey, and they
Yeah.
started adding fire, earth, air, fire, water signs to the astrology too. And it's they like every time that I just go to the magic source, and I pick it up for fun. Like I like the other kind of magi magic and shit like that, the kind of spell casting stuff more than I dig astrology and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Carl Sagan says it the best. He goes, "What if people are born on the same day? They're twins. They're
Yeah.
twins. They're identical twins. and one lives in New York and one lives in Florida or the other side of the world or whatever. And so their horoscope is this, and so both of them are going to have the same day. So you mean to tell me that twins always have good days together or bad days together, no matter the scenario? He said that's complete and utter bullshit. That's just not possible. You know, and then you just go into like, okay, well, in thousands of years too, the planet kind of moves slightly, like it drags behind. So, like if you want to go a million years in the past, like going that far back, fucking we're in different signs for different dates. So
Yeah.
it kind of really does complicate things. And also, he brings up a fantastic point. So even though you have different people doing the astrology different ways, and most people go by where the planets are and stuff like that. But if you went and got the New York Times and the Daily Sun and then all these papers, even from around the world, and you read all the horoscopes, everyone's going to tell you something different. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
so
like
if
you always
astrology went
you know
like
you
science.
you always wonder like kind of like back in the day, like kings and pharaohs had astrologers calling the shots. So
Oh
like
yeah.
when you start like kind of meddling what we were talking about money, like what if the Feds got some secret stargazer picker when to crash the market? Tie that to money and it's a whole new game, I guess.
Oh yeah. Or what if like truly like psychic people of like X-Men, like they like the real psychics could find other psychics, right? And it's like all of a sudden you have a kid and your kid's like 10 and the Men in Black just show up and they're like, oh, he's coming with us, and really like every fucking badass psychic that's like X-Men, like the government has them all like Men in Black shit, like orchestrating shit. It's kind of like that one movie where they predict the future before you're gonna kill somebody. So
Yeah.
I think it's fun to talk about. I love studying magic because to me it's the gateway to science. And even though like it seems crazy and stuff, I believe a lot of it's a mindset of you. Like I have the tattoos of Mercury on me and the tattoo of the wizard, the magi, the magician on the tarot card deck. And to me, it's like, am I that because I'm a Gemini, or am I that because that's who the role I choose to take on? Like that's kind of like, to me, it's my alter ego. It's who I achieve to be, like strive to be. I strive to be the magician. So I don't know if it's like, am I born to be a magician, a wizard, or is that the path that I chose? So it's all
I mean,
it's all
like,
fun
well, it's
stuff. But
like you always gotta think about like, are you a wizard because you're a Gemini, or are you a wizard because you were around it? You know?
yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. So it's like, do you try, like, I really love studying old school magic and spells and stuff like that because to me it's the gate. Like, we would not have science if it wasn't for magic. I mean,
Okay.
back in the day, they were killing motherfucking scientists because, oh my God, it was witchcraft. I mean, they would come and kill you fucking if you said that the Earth revolves around the sun. They were like, that is fucked up. Like, and if you had science books back in the day, like you're a witch. Straight up, you're a witch. They were all banned, and it was like a secret magic club, and they were alchemists, and alchemists were chemists basically. They were trying to find the philosopher's stone
Philosopher's
in
Stone. Oh
real
my God.
in real life. Yep.
All right. Well,
So,
all right, guys. So we could get a little weird. So magic. You're into runes and tarot cards, Rich.
yeah.
So this is gonna be, I'm still gonna tie this with money, but can you actually make money with that stuff? Because I'm down to try anything new. I try my candles. I draw some symbols, whatever. But what is your belief on people trying to make money off of that?
Well, runes and tarot cards supposedly work to predict your future. I've kind of developed a way to kind of use them for spells. So let's kind of switch that. Let's take away like the runes and tarot. Like, can you draw magic symbols in order to make money? Like you and I've gotten some candles from like the magic stores and stuff like that, and you can buy a candle for love or sex or money, or basically you buy. There's hundreds of different candles now that have come out with that. Like, they used to be like you just gotta have a certain color, and now they mix herbs with them and stuff like that. So it goes back to, once again, is it the candle? Like, is there angels and demons and God watching? And go, oh, he lit the candle. Let's hook him up. or is it the mindset? As
Well,
in, if you, it's kind of like Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. If you get sprinkled with fucking fairy dust, you don't necessarily fly. You have to believe you can fly, right? So
well,
it's like,
okay. So with magic, like people say magic's real, magic's fake, but sometimes people think, it's about focus, intent, and like bending what's already there. So
yeah,
I've done it here and there. Not saying spells, but with my candle stuff. I light the candle saying, "Can you bring me something that will help me?" And one day, you don't notice it, and I found $10 out in the parking lot.
yep.
But then,
So it,
what was that $20? Was God aiming for that for me to do something with it? Like, what was I supposed to do? Buy a $10 lotto ticket? Like, it's
and
sometimes
the
I think
and
it's
the
cool, but like I don't know, like if I needed help and I told God like, oh my God, I'm financially struggling, whatnot, and He sends me $10, like what am I supposed to do with it?
the real question is, if you just light a candle and you ask for money and you get money, right? And you're like, man, that candle really worked. That was some good magic. Think about it though. That candle that you asked for money for, you think it was a good thing. Someone had to lose that $10. So if you're asking for something for free and you get it, then you just hurt somebody else too.
Yeah, it's kind of
So
like
that's where
basically like
that's where
you took someone else's
self-identity
like
comes in.
money for your sake. I mean, it's like well we could kind of change it up a bit. Like back in the day, there wasn't too much like back in back in the day. There wasn't really money. People used to barter. So like we'll put cows for example. Cows for farmers and people were money. That could feed a whole family for a long time.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and then like you know the way like besides candle magic, you could play around with tarot cards, and I think if I remember this from a while back. It was kind of a meaning. I think the Ace of Pentacles.
Physical, yeah. Or
Yeah,
ace of death.
yeah, and sometimes it can mean new beginnings, and you kind of correlate it. Like if you're thinking about cash, like it's not instant, but it's like planting a seed and waiting for it to grow.
Yeah, I kind of like to think of the tarot cards as like, okay, so imagine this when you're shuffle, like kind of like ghosts, right? Like, let's say you have ghosts, and then which is a whole nother thing. Don't know, I believe in spirits, but I don't know if I believe in ghosts. But there's some that they call poltergeists that are actually able to touch and move things on this earth, right? Like they can just exist in our plane and another plane at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So fucking imagine if God's just not going to come down on a chariot and hand you a message, correct? It's like, holy crap, then everybody's going to see this shit, and you're going to be like, oh, but imagine if angels or demons or spirits could alter very, very small things, right? So imagine if you shuffle the tarot card deck, that they can adjust how the cards shuffle. So it's like when the cards are folding together, one card gets above the other card. So the more anomalies you can create. And then I also believe I really believe in intuition and your feeling when it comes to certain things.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'll keep cutting the tarot card deck, and
Also, Richard, keep going.
I'll
I'm
be
gonna pee real quick. Keep going.
and keep shuffling the tarot card deck until you get like a certain feeling. I believe the most powerful of psychic things that you can that psychic what do you call them? Fucking predictions is just observing nature. That to me, nature is the biggest thing. To me, like birds are like angels, and so are all the other creatures on this planet. Like they are living souls, and I believe that they do have a consciousness, have a soul. I think humans are arrogant that we are the only soul that is going to go to heaven because hey, all dogs go to heaven, right, and stuff like that. And so, and you can see different. Every dog is not the same personality. Every dog is not. Every animal, every cat, every bird is a different kind of an entity. So it has maybe you want to consider our souls better, which again I think that's arrogant, but they do have living souls, like from the smallest little creature to the smallest one-celled organism to plants. I really am a plant nut and a tree fan. Like, I just love plants. We would not be here if it wasn't for plants. They make our fucking oxygen. We breathe oxygen and we exhale the gas that they fucking that they inhale. Everything that we eat comes from a plant, which comes from the sun. You can talk about sun worship. So all the energy on this planet comes from the sun. People go, oh, well, that's not true because we have volcanoes that aren't the sun.
All right,
Well,
I'm back, Richard.
that energy was made basically from. I was just talking about how like we are like Pocahontas and the Lion King. We are the circle of life. Like I was talking like all living things I believe have some kind of a soul, and all things are connected. All the energy that we have is come from the sun and the stars. And like people are like, oh, like well, there's volcanic activity, there's uranium and stuff that they can do nuclear power plants with. It still all came from the sun.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the sun when it created itself blew off all the excess of when it created itself, and that's what all of that is from. And the crazy thing to think about, and I love this, is that we are star people. You're like, oh, what do you mean? Like we're astrology star people and stuff like that? No, no, no. So every element in your fucking every element, like above iron, like iron and up, that all our bodies are made out of carbon, etc. Even gold, people live gold. All that stuff wasn't just made on the earth. That stuff was all made from stars that exploded because the atoms in the star combined together to make other atoms. So you go from hydrogen, or from hydrogen, the most abundant molecule or element in the universe, and then it goes hydrogen, helium, and so on and so on. Well, those are constantly made in a nuclear furnace. Like they just keep compounding and compounding themselves because the pressure and the gravity and the heat there just starts adding them together. It starts adding them together and kicking off an electron here, an electron there, and that's what gives you protons, and that's what gives you sunlight. So you think about it, every single thing you can see, touch, every single thing, and even you, is made up of billions and billions of years of stars exploding and then coming back together just so you could have a physical form.
Yeah, I mean,
That is insane.
so like honestly, like maybe like in a visualization, like magic light, same principle but different flavor. I you know I'd say it's like your focus that you're steering it with, not the universe, but like not like the universe handing you a check like with the whole money, but like your hustle. You know, like for people doing like a spell for making $1 million, you know, it won't work. And you know, I did see a TikTok a while back about this guy saying you could manifest and manifestation, like a visualization, and people were trying to do it with money. You know, it's like picturing a fat stack of money.
I truly believe that. I should, but look what we do with science and technology. We are manifesting our own destiny. The Some of my old books that I have, one of them is like way older than me, and it has like a saying for every tarot card there. And the magician, the magi one is my favorite, and I'm not quoting it correctly or anything, but it goes with the wand he created, with the cup he preserveth, with the disc he protects, and with the sword he destroys.
Damn, that's
So
pretty cool.
it, yeah, I totally messed it up somehow. But if you think about it, so those are the four corners of anybody's a Wiccan or dive into. So which Wiccan to me is just girly wizard stuff, which I hardly get into. But I do respect the four corners. So to me, it's like those are the four things that you need for any life at all to exist. Is you need earth, air, fire, water. You have to have those things.
Well, like another thing, like you think about, like, so with the whole earth, air, fire, water, you know, people always associate with like the four elements, those four elements as, you know, the curators of life. But then you always think about like the full moon, right? Or like gold chains, or, you know, like chanting. What if there's like a little dark side? You know, people like, you know, everyone talks about the full moon, but no one talks about the dark side, right? Like when there's a full moon, people are like, "Oh shit, it's a full moon! People are gonna go crazy." people, and there was a dark
Yeah, no one
side.
talked about the new moon.
Yeah, the new moon.
Yeah,
And then you ever
you
like,
didn't get another the Black Moon Lilith thing. It's like the that's something I barely understand, but it's like it's like the absolute it has to do with like the closer the moon is, and it's waxing and waning and stuff like that, and it's like it is just another form of science technically.
yeah, or what
But
if
to me, it's
like
like
the elite people? What?
respecting the corners to me is just how I said that like magic is the gateway to science, and that's why we're all here. It is because of technology and science, but it's like so we need a lot more than that to create like a human. So like Full Metal Alchemist, that great anime, one of my favorite animes, probably
Yes,
my favorite anime.
amazing
But
at
it's
Full
like,
Metal.
but they go, all right, we're trying to do the super sin. We're trying to bring them on back. We're trying to create a human body, like, and bring back the soul to put in it. And they go, well, this is what you need. You need this much water. You need this much carbon. You need this much potassium. You need this much phosphorus. And you can find that out and write it down. And that's basically what you end up with the elements of a human body. But then it keeps going too. There's all these kind of micro elements and stuff like that, and then you're talking like DNA, and you just keep going, and like it's science and magic are like definitely like trying to find like the keys to heaven, like trying to have the knowledge of God, and we are chasing that with technology. We're trying to live longer, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to do all this other stuff. My mom's a Bible thumper. She hates like my magic tattoos and the fact that I study magic and all that stuff like that. But I'm like, what if I told you I could contact someone with my mind on the other side of the world? Like I had a psychic connection with them,
Yeah.
and then they'd always be like, "That's the devil." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Blah. You're going to hell. Stuff like that. You're carrying one around in your pocket, your cell phone. You know,
Yeah.
you can contact someone around the world. So people look at technology as technology. Technology truly is magic if you think about it. Imagine 300 years ago, you had a little TV and you turned that bitch on. 300 years ago, they'd shit themselves. You know, they'd be like, "What? Where are the people in that box? How did you hide those people in that box?"
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, if you want to get into
They'd
real
be,
magic, I mean,
they,
like how the
they'd be
elites
crazy.
use it, like using blood rituals or secret societies, and like some things like if you ever read stories about the Bohemian Grove or the Skull and Bones, all that, they they're a bunch of rich weirdos that want stuff having magic neutrals like knife cuts a knife that cuts both ways and
Well, so there's this weird thing. I'm really big into the last I don't know 3 or 4 years into the study of angel magic and demons and stuff like that. Diving into like the books of Solomon and stuff like that. And there are people that do this, and like you can conjure demons and you can conjure angels, and when you conjure them, you also put them in like a magical circle. The show Supernatural, I thought did a fantastic job, and it's a little trippy, a little bit corny, but I thought like just the magic that they use and the way they use spells and stuff like that, it was quite accurate. And so, but put it this way: do you believe there's life on other planets?
yes.
Why? Oh, because the universe is infinite. Or infinite.
Yeah.
So,
I am a firm believer that we're not alone.
me too. So if you're saying so, we're not only there, and a whole bunch of scientists talk about this shit too. There is going to like all our life forms here are carbon based. One day we'll find something that's not carbon based, and we'll go, holy shit. That's crazier than finding aliens. Like supposedly everything in life is carbon based, but what if we find something that wasn't carbon based? It's like what if on Jupiter or on a planet that was completely volcanic, that there was life that could survive that, and we could see it in extremophiles here, and even in like the volcanic vents that are in the ocean. Like crabs are down there. It's like 300 motherfucking degrees. They're like chilling beside a volcano under the ocean, and they're like, I'm fine. And you're like, what the fuck? Why aren't you looking like Red Lobster crab? Like fucking, why aren't you just cooked? It's because they adapt to it. So, if you believe that there are different forms of life out there, so there's probably different, not just humanoids, but different kinds of like way superior life. So, if that's the case, then the humans we've been evolving like year to year, right? Or
Yeah.
decade to decade, century to century. We've been becoming smarter, using technology, and we've been progressing. So if you can say that, then there are aliens out there that can travel through space, maybe can cheat the speed of light. So then, if you go a little bit further, what if there's other dimensions? So if we can consider, like, when I go fishing, I consider that being another world. Like, I'm on top of that, like, world, that plane, but I can fish. I can go into that world and I could catch that fish, bring him out of his world into my world. You know, fish won't be there, so you're literally jerking him out of his world and pulling him into your world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if that's the case, and we might not be the smartest living things on this universe, what if there are different dimensions with different things like angels and demons, like different creations that are not even like excuse me.
It reminds me of a Machine Kelly song, like "My angels and demons are done, done." You know.
Yeah. So imagine if there are things that are of a higher consciousness, like angels and demons. So it's like somewhere between us, the physical world, and God in heaven, that there are several different worlds that have, I don't know, powers. What do you say? And so that's why, it's put it this way. I very rarely do any kind of angelic magic, but it's very scary when you do it, because you're like, you're putting your fishing worm into a lake, and you don't know what's going to happen. So it's like you're kind of trying something that, like, you know, you're experimenting with science. It's like the first person to do, let's deal with electricity. Let me go fly this motherfucking kite
Yeah.
up in the air, holding the fucking key to that bitch and see what happens. He must have shit himself and fucking lightning struck that motherfucker. And it's like, so it's like, oof. So if that's the case, can you conjure these things? You know, but if that's the case, if you fuck up, like, imagine if you had to write this conjuring spell to get this one angel, and this angel was supposed to just come down and just shower you with all kind of love and wealth and pussy and sex and everything like that. And what if you misspelled one letter? Like, you had this spell in Hebrew written out in this binding circle to control the angel, because that's what it's about too, is control. And what if you fucked up one letter? So what if the angel you thought you were calling wasn't the right one?
Well,
So that's a very, very scary
the
thing.
big word here, man, is control. Man,
It is control.
ties back. Like, honestly, ties back to the government, money, and power, hand in hand. What if they're not just printing cash, but enchanting it? But like, it's like symbols on a dollar bill. The pyramids,
I was just about to say it. Yeah.
the pyramids, the eye. That's some magical like flex or something, you know. But
Yeah, but like,
you know, they
if
have
you
the
look at Washington,
you have like the
Washington D.C., it's
yeah.
tons of magic.
Yeah. I mean, you have the all-seeing eye. I mean, you get the vibes from the Freemason roots. Some say, but I argue, it's more about psychology than spells. Makes people trust paper, and once you got them hooked, no incantations and incantations needed.
The crazy thing to think about is these civilizations are the lost civilizations. Like, they used to go, oh, the pyramids are like 3,000 years old. Now they're going, no, they're 5. Now they're going, they're more like 10.
Yeah.
And then you look at like the Peruvian cultures that built these fucking phenomenal fucking structures, like on top of a motherfucking mountain, like, and you can't put a piece of paper in those motherfuckers. Like, there is these tons of ancient civilizations that are like I hate the ancient alien guy with his crazy fucking hairdo thinking about aliens, but it's like, well, what if humans could conjure stuff? What if there is this kind of magic? And our guest the other day, Justin and I were talking about, like, we were talking about like voice. Like, I think music is a very, very powerful magic, and like, and incantations with your voice. And it's like why some people do spells in Latin and blah blah blah, but it adds meaning. But we got to talking. So if you ever go to a concert and everybody's singing the same song, right?
Yeah.
You feel this like energy, right? Or so if people go to church, everybody sings the same song. So at the same time,
All this
they're all
energy.
praising God, all this energy. Now let's take it a step further and apply it to science. So they go, how do these motherfuckers move this 10,000 pound block? And you
Was
go, well, they tied a whole bunch of ropes to it, put some laws underneath it. What if they all just chanted?
like
What if they just,
yeah.
yeah, pretty much, all at the same time, all taught this, hitting a certain tone. So you know how like supposedly an opera singer could, if she's a really badass opera singer, she could yell out and she could shatter a glass from like across like, pow. Her pitch can actually shatter a glass. So think about it. If that was one person's pitch, could 10,000 people move a 10,000 pound stone if they all had the same pitch? And you
Well,
go, nah, bullshit. But they're doing experiments now, and I've seen them online where they use sound and
hmm
they can manipulate like water,
okay. Well,
like the structure of it.
I'll meet you halfway on that. So you're talking about music. You're talking about noise that affects like objects and people. What if like obviously politicians, CEOs, bankers, they already have that down to the T. And I've seen things and I've read things where they use certain music or noises to like make you want to buy stuff. And it's like kind of like a secret handshake if you know it. And it's like all
Right.
about power, all about power over the mind.
Yeah, and to me that's very dark magic. And Buddhism talks about one thing, and kind of Christianity does too. And I try to preach it in my magic too. That surrender. Surrender is basically giving yourself to God, giving yourself to this world, to realize that there's things that you cannot control. Like I'm wearing the bracelet with the saying that you found. I forgot to tell you about this. I found this cool bracelet with a cross on it, and it has the saying, God give me the power to, change or to understand what I can't change. I forget what I'm saying of it, the Serenity Prayer or something like that. You know, so it's about, so literally if you are like it goes back to like your $10 bill question, like a candle got you a $10 bill.
Yeah.
So are you really any and the Full Metal Alchemist, any magic you do, it has a toll no matter what. And you can go, well, there's good magic. No, there's really not. Good and bad come hand in hand. And on
Yin
that
and
day
yang.
that you got that on that day you got that $10, there's gonna be a day that you lose that $10.
Actually, I did.
So
Like, you know what? I kind of did. Like, that day where I found two $10 bills. One I took, another one I couldn't.
yeah, so it's kind of like the best advice is to be like Gandalf, like the White Wizard. Like he had surrendered himself, right? Like he had completely surrendered. Like he can't, like when he was Gandalf the Grey, he knew these spells and shit like that. That like he knew this like kind of like half-ass magic. And when he went and fought that fucking demon, and he technically died and came back, whatever. I'm not quite sure. I didn't really read the book, saw the movie, but just relating that shit to it. But when he came back, he was Gandalf the White. Like he didn't even remember spells. Like he didn't have to like conjure anything anymore.
Yeah.
It was like he was God sent. He was there doing God's work. Oh, I just got God just my magic power is I get goosebumps when I know I'm right. So literally, the best thing, the number one beats all fucking magic is prayer. To go to church and have God in your life, and my grandma taught me this before she died, and she says when you say a prayer, one I don't say a prayer for money. I don't say a prayer for anything like that. I say a prayer to try to help, to try to, and I ask for guidance a lot. But always at the end of every prayer, you should say, "If it's your will, God." That
If
means
it's your will.
so that's the ultimate cheat code for me. So I could do a spell, one anything, one everything, and at the end of it, so I'm asking for all this stuff, right? That maybe not be right. Maybe it's fucked up. And so I would have to pay a toll, right? But at the end of it, there's a fail safe. You go, so if I go, God, I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and even if you're doing it worshiping the devil, blah, 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 and then you got this whole spell printed out, basically. And then at the very end of it, you go, Lord, if it's your will. Right there, you just technically gave yourself a get out of jail free card. Because you just threw, that was, essentially you just made a prayer. And you basically ask God, I would like all these things, but if it's not in the plan, I understand. If it's not what you want, since you are in complete control and you are my God, then if it's not in the plan, then I don't want it.
That's
So it
deep.
cuts it off.
That's very deep.
So there's no toll to pay. So it's a get out of jail free card because you either your spell works because it was meant to be and you're on the right path of manipulating it, manifesting it, or it didn't work because it wasn't the right thing because you asked God if it was right or not.
Yeah, I mean
That's
that is
crazy.
true. All right, so I'm gonna switch it up a bit. So, all right, I don't know if you heard
You got
about this.
you got about 10 more minutes and
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to roll.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so think about this. So there's a thing going around called CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. They're testing them in China. They got one kind of sniffing around in the U.S. Total control, man. Every dollar tax shut off if they don't like you. That's money, government, and tech in a chokehold.
Yeah, and that's also spoken about in the Bible.
Yeah, and it's a scary thought. Not gonna lie, I've heard
Very
about it. It's like a digital leash, right? Fits your conspiracy vibes, you know. I hate it, but it's like, holy shit, man! You can't be like microchipping everything. And now, like, what do people want to do to get out of this? Live like hermits out in the wild?
Yeah, a lot of people are, and that it's basically just currency came about because it was basically a way to preserve your crop, if you think about it. So you go, well, I'm a carrot farmer. The carrots only come in one time a year,
Yeah.
so I can't keep all my damn carrots and sell them all year. And so, I mean, I need milk and I need eggs and I need this and that, which I can get all year round, but people only buy my fucking carrots one time a year. So this it became the system of and also like preserving it as in transport. So imagine if you had to take a year supply of something with you, like across America, you're on a wagon train, you know, and I got to carry everything I need to survive for a fucking year. You're talking about hauling like several wagons with you and shit like that. But since money is accepted, it's like gold is accepted, then you could go, hey, I'm gonna sell all my shit and take this little bit of coin with me that's worth 3 or 4 wagon trains worth of money. My that I would have to haul all the way across the country, or I could take these pieces of gold or dollar bills for just for travel purposes, and it fits in my wallet.
Yeah.
So I don't have to take care of it. I don't have to fucking feed it. Like, what if you knew you were going to need a cow in a year, but you didn't need it now, but you need it in a year? So you go, hey, you can have this cow now that you're not going to get shit for in a year, or you could have this piece of gold that's technically a cow, and you can get it in a year, brand new.
Well, it's like kind of like trading too. I mean, like imagine
It,
trading like some stuff for like rabbits or, you know, or other things. And it kind of reminds me of like tying it back to astrology, like. And I feel like this was a real thing. Like back in the day, like there's certain people born throughout the year that were made to be someone. Whether like what if like Gemini's were shoe crafters and Aquarius were gatherers.
yeah, it does go back to hunting and gathering was basically living off the land, right? Like maybe there was some kind of trade going back in the day, like hunting and like more than likely it's pretty much I will trade to hunt this piece of steak for some pussy, like
Yeah,
old profession, right? Pretty much.
yeah,
But farming, the second we started farming, it separated us from not to say just Neanderthals, but us too from primitive folk, from being nomads that we had to move back in the day to follow game, like because a lot of game is migratory, and
yeah.
and to me too, magic also is directly tied to our old school ways of hunting and gathering and farming. You cannot plant a tomato at a certain time of year and expect to have a tomato.
Well, it kind of
You
reminds me of
cannot
you,
plant.
Richard.
I know.
Yeah,
They have the
you're a
they,
nomad.
they have the fault. No, I'm not a nomad, motherfucker.
Yeah, you keep moving in
What?
different places.
Yeah, I really moved to different places. I'm in the same house I've been in my entire life right now. So, but think about like farming, right? Let's just go back to hunting and gathering, right?
Yeah,
How do you know? Like this is going back to Stonehenge and shit like that, and even before Stonehenge. and well, the Native American stuff here. I've been to like one of the Earth mounds. That's kind of like it's like a mini pyramid of a mound of dirt in Georgia, and um, they're all around the United States. They made these little pyramids. They're like 100, 200 foot tall of mud, of motherfucking mud. And there's a couple here in Florida made out of oysters,
Really?
shelled oysters that are like mounds. And if you look closely at them, like one of the ones in Georgia that we visited, Okomachobi. It's not Okomachobi, Oko something like that. It's really hard to say, but you can go up there and it's like the chief. Like you walk in and there's like literally a room in there, and there's like this clay like throne, just like a clay throne, and they've excavated some of them, but they won't touch a couple of them because they're sacred.
Yeah,
But they
yeah.
dug down and like chiefs have been buried. Like they kept burying people and making the mound taller. They kept burying chiefs and making the mound taller.
All right.
So it's like chief under chief under chief. So but you get in this, you walk in this little tiny doorway, like you're walking into a hobbit's house,
Yeah.
right? And you see this, it's a circular place with a fire pit, and then there's this throne up there, and then on the longest day of the year, June 21st, I think in the 20th, 21st, on the longest day of the year, the sun comes up directly on the doorway.
So, not to cut you off, Richard, we're about to hit the hour mark, but I do have a confession to make.
No shit, we haven't been online the whole time.
No, we've been live. We've been live. I just feel like you should know, and the people should know. We don't have too many people watching us. I think we have my boy, one of my coworkers. But this whole time that me and you have been talking, you've been natural, but
You've been relying on AI.
I've been reading off a script that was made from AI.
Right. I knew that.
Did you know?
Yeah, because you don't sound like the Sam Regan. But I doubt other people knew that. I knew
But
that because of movies.
no. You probably didn't even know. You're like talking. You're just talking like, what the fuck? Like, why is Ruben saying
No,
this today?
no, it seemed very very weird and very like switching it up more than usual. Not to mention that you did give me a hint today, motherfucker.
I did give you a little hint, but I thought like, yeah, let's do it another time. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna start doing because I don't
Plus,
think.
I know who you are. So
Yeah. But you were giving out good answers, and I just kept modifying the AI script just to fit in around it. But I kept trying to keep back on the topic.
which is kind of fantastic if you think about it. So I was literally going having a conversation with an AI Ruben, which is
Yeah,
pretty
AI
cool.
Ruben.
Which is really crazy. The only real question is, and we'll leave you with this as we sign off. Um, did the AI make you go pee?
No, no, it did not. I had.
That's pretty good.
I had.
Did the cookie make you feel better because the cookie made you feel better, or did me telling you the cookie made you feel better make you?
But
Feel better?
how do you feel that you were talking in a fabricated conversation?
It wasn't fabricated. It was me. Like the Jeopardy thing did that Watson thing, which I thought was fucking fantastic. So it was basically a super thing to Google. Like there is going to be some kind of weird conflict when it comes to AI and when it comes to all the things that it brings to us and all the things that it's going to take away from us one day. So
Well,
it's a very very scary. Put it this way: when AI starts making AI, then we have a problem.
well,
And
how
then
about this? I'm gonna
once
make
it
an
becomes
announcement. So
once it
everyone,
becomes conscious,
anyone that watches any future stream, there will be a chance it might be AI, but we won't say at all.
so everybody donate. Like you put all your money in a pot, and if you get it right, we'll send you something.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Ruben. Definitely an interesting one.
Yeah,
See when
pretty
you get to get
interesting.
on this one. See what the feedback is. All
Sounds
right,
good.
bud.
All right, guys.
Oh shit, it's 911 too. Yep, someone
911.
called in that.
All right, 9/11. All right, man. Well, it's nice talking to you, Richard Olson. It was nice talking to everyone. We had
It's
only
nice talking to the robot that was
Robot
manifesting
Ruben,
himself.
Robot AI Ruben.
Yeah, Ruben. Just to let y'all know, Ruben is actually a construct. He is not even a living person. He is just an AI that we
Yeah, I'm
made.
just fake.
Yeah, that's fucking creepy as shit.
Oh my god. That's a mental. There's a disease or like a kind of a mental thing going on with some people where it's the thing where you believe everyone's an imposter.
Yeah, that's a very scary thought.
Yeah.
And, or if the world itself is not real and you're living in a simulation like the Matrix is a very scary thought. And that goes into the whole. So here we're going into our podcast into like the whole Inception thing. They start diving deep into dreams.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
only way you get out of a dream is to kill yourself,
Oh,
basically.
shit.
And then you get back to the real world and you're like, something doesn't feel right.
And you kill yourself and you actually die.
Yep, pretty much. Yep. So that's a very, very scary thought. Along with fate, not fate, but FATE. Like if everything is predetermined, then me putting a bullet in my head is already predetermined, so it doesn't matter, which is a very scary thought. So,
Yeah. Well, we'll wrap it with that. All right, guys, have a good night, and good night, Mr. Richard.
Adios, sir. Let's do it on in a couple of days.
No,
Thought it
yep.
was a good one.
Yep, pretty good one. Next one in a couple days.
AI ain't got nothing on me.
Yeah, it does.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, man. Bye.